And I kind of alluded to talk about football players as we just kind of wrapped up our baseball player conversation. Ricky, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, when the 2021 NFL draft came and went, we had 5 first-round quarterbacks and Kyle Trask in the end of the second round, who had a very high ceiling, all of them, maybe not Trask, but he was drafted and he was behind Brady. So, I mean, you could even argue that he had a high ceiling, learning behind the best. 3.5 years ago, Ricky, if I told you that none of them were going to be busts, would you believe me? Would you have believed me?
At that time, yeah.
Okay. Would you believe me if I said only one of them was going to be a bust?
I'd say it was possible.
How many of those 6 quarterbacks did you think in the moment on that Monday after the draft, did you think were actually going to pan out, be stars, not superstars, but stars, starters, capable, reliable, good quarterbacks? At the very least, like that's the bar at the very least.
At the very least, probably like half of them.
So out of the 6, you'd probably say 3, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be a given. People probably thought that Fields was going to be a given. And then you can kind of mix and match whoever that third one is. A lot of people don't even want Kyle Trask in this conversation, but I think he kind of deserves to be in there because he was good at Florida. And again, he was drafted behind Brady. So he was in a great position to learn. Well, Ricky, I know you kind of already know where I'm going with this because you've already seen it on my story. But for those that don't, I kind of want to bring up this beautiful, beautiful photo. I just got to pull it up here. So I saw this eating my morning breakfast. I saw this. Anthony Richardson is 22 years now. Of course, now we're mixing and matching other draft class. 22 years old and he's benched. Bryce Young is 23. Trey Lance is 24. Fields, Levis, Wilson are all 25. Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett are 26. And they are all benched. Now, back in that 2021, to answer my own question, Ricky, I thought 3 of them were going to suck. So I thought 3 were going to excel in this league, and I thought 3 of them were going to suck. Now, admittedly, I did not consider Kyle Trask back when I made that claim because I was focused on first-round quarterbacks, and he wasn't projected to be a first-round quarterback. But I still think 3 of them could have played well. I didn't like Trey Lance. I didn't like Zach Wilson. So I was on the wagon of Lawrence, Fields, and Mac Jones. Now, we look at the current landscape of the quarterback market for sports cards. Who are we buying? CJ Stroud? Sure. Jaden Daniels? Sure. Caleb Williams? Absolutely. But those 2 specifically have only a limited pool of cards to choose from, just because not all the products are out. Whereas a guy like CJ Stroud, all the 2023 stuff is already out, so you can buy whatever you want. But he has no licensed autos. So there's a little wrinkle there. How do we digest this information, Ricky, that the NFL has a quarterback development problem, which will directly affect the hobby because the hobby seemingly only cares about the quarterbacks? Now, if we were to pull up a list of running backs over the last 3-4 years, I bet that list would look pretty good. So when the draft class next year rolls around with Shadur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, whoever else, Carson Beck, people need to pause. Don't get all excited. Don't overreact because some of their names might even be on this list. Break it down for me, Ricky.
I mean, sooner or later, people are gonna start learning, right? You would think that, like, you need to stop buying the hype unless you're flipping it right away. Like, unless you buy it one day and sell it the next hour. It's like this happens year in, year out. Because people have no patience. They want to see them blow up right after they buy them. So it's like, ugh. And then that word investment gets thrown around like a football.
I mean, you can even put Trevor Lawrence's name on this list because the Jags aren't doing that well this year. I mean, I know he got a big contract extension, but going into this year, him, Daniel Jones, you can even throw Daniel Jones on this list. I know that's going a little further back. And Mac Jones all had similar stats. I think it was last year. But I mean, looking just at this list, and you're throwing 2 former first overall picks on this list. Now, of course, this isn't a be all end all list. Of course, quarterbacks can bounce back. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at Baker Mayfield. Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson are just from the draft class before. Fields was actually playing pretty well until Russell Wilson came back. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of caveats there. But when you're in the heat of the moment at a show or at a shop or at any kind of hobby event, no one's going to care that Justin Fields was it 4-2 or whatever before Russell Wilson came back, or whatever his record was, 3-3. No one's going to care about the fact that Trey Lance looked okay before he broke his leg, and then he hasn't had a chance since he broke his leg. No one's going to care that he's the Bryce Young's on the Carolina Panthers, which is the worst team in football, maybe next to the Patriots. So again, there is caveats, and there are little bit of things to kind of pick at this list. But overall, Ricky, I couldn't agree more with you, is that people overreact and people get excited for what? To be right about the next Joe Montana? Justin Herbert, I mean, constantly gets compared. But he's not Joe Montana.
Buy Joe Montana because he's so cheap.
Exactly. And like, I've said this comparison before, and I need to say it again just to drill it in people's heads. And I love it because Justin Herbert has $1 million sale. If I told you, Ricky, right now that I will sell you this card, or you could sell that card for $1 million, would you do it in a heartbeat? A Justin Herbert 1-of-1 RPA? Of course, because
Absolutely.
That's his ceiling. There's no possible way that Justin Herbert, and I'm not picking on Herbert, but there's no way that Herbert's value or ceiling will exceed $1 million. So why not just buy the guys who are solidified? How many quarterbacks in this league outside of Patrick Mahomes who has a legitimate shot at being one of, if not the best of all time? Because it is so hard to win 1 Super Bowl, 2, 3, 4, 5, not 6, not 7, not 8 Super Bowls. And it's just so aggravating because we get all hot and bothered over one, that if Hurts won that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, if Joe Burrow won that Super Bowl, if Brock Purdy won that Super Bowl, everyone would be, whoa, 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 ooh, yeah. Because they're young, they're good, they're exciting to watch. People want to be right about the market. So it is aggravating. And you got positions like, I'm going on a rant here. Positions like the running back and wide receiver and tight end and defensive players all across the field that are good. Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, McCaffrey when he's healthy. Jamar Chase has little value right now. I don't know why he's having a great season. And then Aaron Donald, who just retired, arguably the best defensive player of our generation. Sauce Gardner, best cornerback right now, or one of the best cornerbacks. But nobody effing cares. Not a soul cares. And it is beyond aggravating. And I think it's because a lot of people will come into the shop, and I'm not trying to pin it on the customers. Oh, do you have any Anthony Richardson RPAs? Do you have any high-end Justin Herbert? It's like, if I did, would you buy it? A, and B,
right,
unless you like him because of who he is. Now, if you like Anthony Richardson or Justin Herbert because you're a fan, that's fine. That has nothing to do with this. But if you're buying it for that investment, then maybe you should possibly look at other investments, because we all know that sports cards as an investment, individual players, is not an investment. It's a flip unless you plan on keeping it for a year. But if you were to buy it for $100, what are the chances it's $100 or more this time next year? Ricky, I'm done.
No, it's it's definitely frustrating because people don't listen. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring all this out, but people genuinely have no idea what they're doing. Including me. Sometimes I get caught up in the hype. Oh, bless you. Yeah.
Had to blow my nose. Sorry.
Sometimes I'll get caught up in the hype. I don't know, man.
I can keep
really
going.
don't.
Ricky. I could keep effing going.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, it's so aggravating because any of these guys, let's just say Trey Lance fills in for Dak Prescott this week, and he looks good. Do you know who's going to be selling on eBay through the nose? Not going to be one little sale or not a collector, a Cowboys fan or a North Dakota State fan buying these cards up. No. They're going to be the flippers or the investors buying these cards up
Well,
because we all know the backup quarterback market is insane. If there's a backup quarterback's one of one or patch auto or rookie patch auto out there, go buy it because that is the stuff that is the investment right there. You buy it for $3 and you sell it for $300 because a guy like Trey Lance is going to fill in halfway through the third quarter. He's going to have a bad drive, but that fourth quarter, he's going to look like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning out there, and he's going to lead the team to win. And then you know what we're going to be hearing on ESPN and Sports Center and all these damn things and seeing all these sales on eBay is that Trey Lance card selling out of his, I'm not going to swear, and that's what everyone's going to be asking for because come Monday, someone's going to be coming to his shop or over the weekend, someone's going to be coming to the show. Hey, do you have any Trey Lance cards? Whereas this time, 3 days ago, no one's looking for a damn Trey Lance card. I'm not trying to pick on Trey Lance, but still, we could do this with Zach Wilson. We could do this with anybody on this list, or the list is over here for me. We could do this anybody on this list, except for maybe Anthony Richardson, who is supposed to be the starter, Bryce Young, who's supposed to be the starter. All these other guys are backups. Oh, we saw it last year. We saw it last year with Josh Dobbs, who had a great season last year filling in.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants Josh Dobbs cards now? Who wanted them in the beginning of August last year before he filled in for Kyler Murray and then before he got traded to Minnesota? Nobody. Talk about the hype. It is all hype based. This whole hobby is hype based. Collect what you like. Honestly, that's why a lot of people go into Pokemon because there's no hype besides cool artwork. But the majority of people can agree that that card, whatever card that is just simply a cool card. There's no hype. There's no performance aspect of it. There's no buy now, sell later aspect of it because people buy it because they like it. No one's buying Josh Dobbs, Trey Lance, or effing whoever else because they like them. No, they're buying them because they want to flip them. Whereas you don't see that as much with Pokemon and other TCG for that matter too. I mean, you're starting to see a lot of people kind of get into One Piece and Lorcana a little bit, and they kind of fall into the boat too. But oh my gosh, Ricky, one of these quarterbacks is going to fill in. Well, I mean, again, Young and Richardson are supposed to be starters, but Young's going to be starting, right? Or Zach Wilson's going to get a start, and they're going to lead his team, and everybody's going to be wanting to buy their cards. It is going to blow my. But then again, you have a guy like Bijan Robinson. I'll just use him for an example, or Kyron Williams, who scores 2 touchdowns, 100 rushing yards, maybe 150 scrimmage yards. And how many people are buying those guys? Nobody. Even though they're bona fide stars in this league. I need water. I did not. That just boiled my blood. I did not expect to do that this morning.
I got you going. I got the juices flowing.
Oh my God. Tell me about it.
Now watch the first customer that comes in today. Do you have any
Joe Milton card? Oh, okay, no, I can't say that because he's local. I can't even think. Do you have any Joe Flacco cards starting this week? I think it's a good buy. It's a good investment. Oh, Jameis Winston, that's another one. I mean that's just more recently happened.
Yeah, I mean this is why I have a nice Trey Lance sitting on my eBay page right now. Trey Lance RPA, just sitting there with a high price tag because I know that day is going to come.
See if I can find it
On my eBay.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
I'm curious what this price tag is. Whatever. I type in Ricky Ray, it didn't come up. I hate like searching for users on eBay. It's such a pain in the butt. I mean, for anybody that's watching this, throw your comments down below. Like, I mean, are these guys really worth buying? Again, Richardson and Young, I think, are a little too early to tell and judge just yet because 1 year in, they showed promise. The teams that they're on may not be the best. Well, I mean, at least in Bryce Young's case, may not be the best. But like, there's high draft picks. They're supposed to play well, and I think this is why the Wemby market is so like exciting to watch. I know this is completely, apples and oranges here, or friggin' like apples and watermelons here.